Cam Newton returned to the practice field on Tuesday, first time since his off-season surgery on his throwing shoulder, and he unveiled some new throwing mechanics. Ron Rivera said that it's the first step of many for Cam. Panthers hoping the new mechanics lead to more wins. They finished 7-9 last season. See, tell us what this new throwing motion means for Cam and the Panthers.
This is really what being a professional athlete is about. It's continuing to adjust. We know Cam's a freakish athlete. He's had success in this league, tremendous MVP season, but what's been the mark of Cam Newton? It's been inconsistency. It's been lack of disciplined feet. It's trying to use all of his natural talent and not using the torque of his body to be able to throw. So this is what you want. The greatest players are always making some type of adjustment in their game. Tom Brady, people didn't talk about it a lot, but he changed his throwing motion a number of years ago. Drew Brees has changed his throwing motion after having the really bad shoulder issue that he had there coming from the Chargers to the Saints. So this is what we've seen. I believe it will make him a little more accurate throwing the ball. It should make him a little more consistent, and it will make him depend on anticipation, because if he's going to grow as a quarterback, not only does he have to tighten up his fundamentals, tighten up his footwork, but he's got to have a little bit better anticipation by not letting the rush get to him and by delivering the football before the wide receivers are ready. I believe he was making tremendous strides last year with Scott Turner, who's the son of Norv Turner, who Cam Newton trusts. So a lot of times when you start seeing stuff, you see a guy working with the quarterbacks, let's say a young quarterback coach like Scott, you wonder, wow, is he going to trust him? And that's the most important. Cam has surrendered all his ability, everything that he knows about being a quarterback. And you have to realize, they didn't teach him anything about being a quarterback at Auburn. Ever since he was in the league, his #1 offensive coordinator for most of his time has been Shula. Shula is not no guru as far as teaching quarterbacks how to throw. So this is the thing. If Cam is going to sustain greatness, it's going to have to do with making adjustments, and I believe Scott Turner and Norv Turner are a godsend for Cam in his career.
And one of your critiques on Cam that has led to the inconsistency you've said is he had been a full upper body thrower.
Yes.
He doesn't use his big, powerful legs, his trunk, the way the most consistent quarterbacks do. It's all in the shoulder. And so I would love to demonstrate for the audience, but I got a bad shoulder and shoulder surgery. I'd rather you demonstrate for the. Can you show how Cam had thrown traditionally in his career, what it looks like, and what, on the very limited video we've seen, what he's trying to get it to?
Right. I think most people, when they see Cam, probably the biggest thing you see is when he throws the ball, he's typically off of his back foot. So you don't have the full torque that you can use. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, the reason why they're throwing the ball better now at a late age is because they're using their legs more, and they use this left arm to stay close to their body so they can create power from their lower half, and they're not using all their arms. So they create a lot of torque into their hips, which brings the shoulder around. That's why you see him stationary, getting used to that rotation and utilizing his hips.
You even see his hand right up there.
Yes, you watch Tom Brady. If you watch all his little training techniques he does, watch how close Tom Brady keeps this left hand compared to the traditional of when I let go of the ball, the hand goes here. No, these quarterbacks are bringing it tight, which opens up your hip so you can generate more force.
And then just quickly, when you're used to throwing a certain way and you've had success doing it that way, how hard is it as an athlete 5, 6, 7, 8 years into the league to now first change, like your moneymaker, the most important thing and most important skill you have?
It's one of the most dangerous things you can do in football. A quarterback changing his throwing motion, basketball trying to change a guy's shot. We had Blake Griffin talking about when he was trying to change his shot, he would lock the gym. He wouldn't even let people take video.
He said,
look, it was some ugly days, some dark days. There are going to be some days that he's not going to have confidence in it, but it will, if he sticks with it, which I believe that he will, it will increase his ability to be effective. No matter if they have a rush on him, he'll learn so much more about putting velocity on the ball, taking reps off the ball. These are things that you continue to learn as a quarterback.
And Cam was forced into it to a degree because the reason last year went sideways was because of a major shoulder injury. So that if you're going to make a change, doing it after an injury when you're recovering would be the time. But I'm going to cross a different sport that you didn't mention to a guy we've talked about today. Tiger Woods, before he ever got hurt, when he was the best player in the world, remade his swing entirely, had a down year because of it, and then once the swing was totally remade, hit the Tiger Slam and all of a sudden played the greatest golf we have ever seen anyone play. If you are willing to make the sacrifice for it, it can elevate you to the next level. Cam might have been forced into it to a degree, but you would hope that this elongates his career, which has always been a concern about Cam. How long can he play?
Right.
How accurate and consistent can he be?
All right, let's move on to the latest on Kevin Durant now. The feared Achilles tear was confirmed yesterday. KD did, in fact, rupture his Achilles. He underwent surgery here in New York on Wednesday. Durant took to Instagram to make the announcement, saying, in part, "My road back starts now. I got my family and my loved ones by my side, and we truly appreciate all the messages and support people have sent our way. Like I said Monday, I'm hurting deeply, but I'm okay. Basketball is my biggest love, and I wanted to be out there that night because that's what I do. I wanted to help my teammates on our quest for the three-peat." Well, Steve Kerr spoke yesterday and defended the decision to clear Durant to play.
Kevin checked all the boxes, and he was cleared to play by everybody involved. Now, would we go back and do it over again? Damn right. But that's easy to say after the results. When we gathered all the information, our feeling was the worst thing that could happen would be a re-injury of the calf. And that was the advice and the information that we had. And at that point, once Kevin was cleared to play, he was comfortable with that. We were comfortable with that. So the Achilles came as a complete shock. So it's devastating, mostly for Kevin, obviously. But we made the decision collaboratively with all the information that we had, and we thought it was the right one.
CeCe, tell me if I'm wrong here. I would imagine one of the things Steve Kerr said there, that the Achilles came into complete shock, was the thing that stuck out to you the most. You've been saying for well over a month now that a severe calf strain could very much, in fact, lead to an Achilles tear, which is exactly what happened to Kevin Durant.
Yeah, this made me feel worse. This made me feel like Kevin Durant didn't have a chance. Of course he should have played. If no one told him he couldn't blow out his Achilles, the worst I can do is hurt my calf. Oh, man, I'm getting ready to play.
Of course.
I mean, everyone surrounded me. It's a lot to do with things behind the knee. It's not only the calf muscle, but you have to clean to make sure there's no inflammation, that the Achilles is not stressed out. So I really feel bad for Kevin because he didn't get the opportunity to make the right decision. Even though he thinks that he might have gone out there, it's nice to give him that information. It'd been nice for someone to sit down and be level set and be like, are you willing to jeopardize free agency in less than 30 days? Are you willing to jeopardize a max contract to tear your Achilles? This is not an ACL. This is a torn Achilles. Like, we have not seen players come back and be better with a torn Achilles. We've seen people with ACL come back and be better. Explosive, powerful. Yeah, you can do that. So I really feel bad for him. And this was a long time ago. And I know modern day medicine has advanced itself. But my trainer still works with some of the greatest pitchers in baseball, greatest wide receivers, athletes in the world, NBA players. He was treating people yesterday while we were watching the show and said, Chris, this is a crime right here. It's a crime that one of those doctors did not tell him, if you do not clean up the calf, the Achilles will be stressed out and he will be jeopardizing everything by going on the court. And he said, Chris, I would not let you play unless you could practice for at least a week. I prefer 2. But you need to be on the court and challenge yourself in a practice setting before you go into game action. So I feel awful that they did this and he didn't have the information that he could have made whatever decision. And if Kevin Durant, like a lot of athletes, decide to do that, I can live with that. But man, we need the information.
Well, that's what's baffling about this, is because Steve Kerr, who is a man I trust, a man I have enormous respect for on and off the court, he came out there, and if he'd have said, listen, this is professional sports, we're going for a championship, we did not think it was likely that Kevin Durant would tear his Achilles, but of course we know it's a possibility. We told that to Kevin. The doctors told us it was a 2 out of 100 shot. Kevin talked to his agent, talked to another doctor, and they made the decision they're going to go out there and, we spun the wheel and got unlucky. That's one thing. But that is not what he said. What he said was, essentially what he said was, this was as shocking to us as if in that game he'd have torn his labrum, because they had nothing to do with each other. And How can that be what your medical team says? How can that be the information he gets when, again, to make the point, Chris, without ever talking to Kevin Durant, said 30 days ago, be careful, don't play. I don't think we'll see him again. Why would we not see him again? Chris, they're going for third straight championship. He could tear his Achilles.
The morning of the game.
The morning of the game, 33 days into it, said, I don't think he's going to play tonight. He could tear his Achilles. How can he know? And the doctors don't. Two things came to mind. One, you mentioned risking free agency. Even if Kevin Durant had a lifetime contract, 10 years, he's risking his basketball destiny.
Yes.
He wants to become the all-time scoring champion. He wants to go down in history as one of the 5 greatest players ever. I'm not saying that's off the board.
No, but now he's a year behind.
And everything is altered now because of this. And the one other element that I couldn't help, Jenna, but think about Kawhi Leonard. And the pressure on Kawhi, the doctors are telling us this, the doctors are telling us this. And Kawhi's had some interesting comments about this, about what it's like to know how you're feeling, have other people not understand it. You now understand maybe why some of KD's teammates were whispering, why isn't he back? If they also thought, the worst that can happen to you, man, is you already have a calf strain. Who gives a damn if you have a worse calf strain? Come play. If that's what they thought, then of course he's going to go play. But how could that be the information that he receives and that he makes his decision on? And
the worst part is that he received it from the trainers and the doctors and his team and everyone around him, and they made that collective decision.
And even the thing that was more incriminating, before the game, with very, very limited, no practice time 5-on-5, playing 2-on-2 and 3-on-3, Steve Kerr said these words, there is no restriction on his minutes. And that right there is just idiotic, naive, criminal. He hadn't been spending any practice time. How can you put him on? He don't have no pitch count. He could play 40 minutes.
Right.
Well, it looked like they was getting ready to put it on his back. So, man, I mean, they messed this up. Now it's just a matter of, will they ever fess up to it?
Can I ask you real quick before we go? Do you think what Steve Kerr said right there is the honest-to-God truth? That in that organization, everyone was shell-shocked that this resulted in a torn Achilles. That nobody thought, guys, he's risking his Achilles.
I was given Bob Myers benefit of the doubt because he was a college basketball player. He might understand. But for all of them, and Kevin's independent doctor who said there's no chance of him blowing out his Achilles, I can't believe that 5 people, a couple medical, all these people can Kleiman, his business partner, I expect him to be wrong.
Right, Kerr played, Myers played, the doctors.
I just don't know how they botched it. They botched it a number of ways, and the only way now is to be able to cover it up compared to saying, oh, we messed this up, because they did.
Especially when you see him out there 12 of the first 14 minutes of the game, having not really practiced all week. All right, take a break. Coming up, will the Warriors force a Game 7? That is still ahead. This is First Things First.